standing strong and tall. Yeah, this is the Bullvine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade, dairy strong legends being made. Yeah, this is the Bullvine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade, dairy strong legends being made.
Welcome back to the Bullvine podcast, where we cut through dairy industry noise to get you the insights that actually matter.
You do indeed.
And today we're doing something a bit special.
We are. We're diving deep into the story of Charlie Will. I mean, the guy Select Sires rejected back in 1974, who just now won the industry's highest honor, the NAAB Pioneer Award for 2025. I read this article. I actually had to check twice that this was real. It's just...
Wow, it is real. And here's the kicker for everyone listening. His bulls, they haven't just influenced pedigrees. They've basically shaped, almost every Holstein pedigree on the planet.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're talking BLACKSTAR, OMAN, Durham. These are names every single dairy farmer knows. Legendary stuff.
It's the ultimate I told you so, really. A genetic empire built by the guy they said wasn't good enough.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really unpack the sources we've got, the full profile, the history, even some internal company records, apparently detailing how one rejection letter, just one no thanks, somehow led to the biggest genetic revolution the dairy industry has ever seen.
How did he do it? How did he sneak in the back door, survive, a decade of being watched, and then just completely change how we breed cows? That's the story. #, Rejection that launched a revolution. The backdoor strategy.
Okay, let's set the scene. It's spring, 1974. Charlie Will, he's just graduated from the University of Illinois, dairy science degree in hand. He's ready to go.
Yeah, eager. Full of ideas, probably.
Absolutely. And think about the time, right? Nixon's dealing with Watergate. Gas is maybe 55 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
It's a different world. And the AI industry.
Yeah.
Dominated by just a few big players.
Right. And he didn't just apply to Select Sires. The sources are clear. He sent resumes to every major AI stud in North America. He put himself out there everywhere. And
the response from Select Sires, the biggest one, a flat, thanks but no thanks, no openings in the sire department, a form letter basically.
Can you imagine getting that? From everyone. Every single place he tried slammed the door. Not one opening, apparently, for this bright kid who'd focused his whole education on this exact thing.
It really says something, doesn't it? About maybe how closed off the industry could be back then. Perhaps looking for, certain connections or just sticking to what they knew.
Well, and what gets me is his background. This wasn't just some academic, right? He grew up on a commercial Holstein farm, Southern Illinois, twice-a-day milkings. He knew cattle the old school way.
He lived it. He knew the smell of the barn, the feel of it, knew what silage and sawdust and manure actually meant for managing cows. That's crucial for a sire analyst, isn't it? You need that practical grounding.
You absolutely do. It's not just numbers on a page. He understood what a cow actually needed to function day to day.
And he had the academic chops, too. He studied genetics at Walkway Farms, even made the U of I dairy judging team, which is pretty competitive. He had the eye and the book smarts.
He had both, but still, nothing. Just another resume in the pile. It's kind of painful, really. Makes you wonder how much talent gets missed when companies are too rigid, sticking to the same old hiring boxes.
Oh, for sure. Most people facing that wall of no would have just pivoted. Gone into feed sales, maybe, or taken a different path entirely. Charlie Will could have just been a footnote.
But he didn't. This is where it gets clever. He starts scanning the classifieds in Horde's Dairyman, the tiny print in the back.
Yeah, the ones you almost need a magnifying glass for.
Exactly. And he spots this little ad, a sales rep job. MABC, Michigan Animal Breeders Cooperative. It was a Select Sires member co-op out in western Indiana.
So not the dream sire department job, not even close.
I know, but it was connected, a foot in the door. And critically, it put him right there on the front lines, talking to farmers day in, day out.
He didn't waste it. 2 years grinding it out as a sales rep.
Yeah.
Learning what farmers were really dealing with.
And then MABC moves him up to Wisconsin, Green Bay area, real dairy country, tough conditions, tough farmers.
That's a proving ground.
For sure. And his job wasn't just sales anymore. He was opening new territory, and he was an SMS evaluator.
Okay, let's break that down. SMS Sire Meeting Service. What does that actually mean for him day to day?
It means he's not in an office. He's out there farm to farm, physically measuring cows, looking at their traits, stature, strength, udder depth, feet and legs, all of it.
And then deciding which Select Sires bull would be the best fit to improve that specific cow's weaknesses.
Precisely. So he's not just pushing semen, he's doing applied genetics hundreds of times on hundreds of farms. He's building this massive practical database in his head about what actually works in the real world.
Way beyond what any analyst stuck behind a desk could learn. He's building relationships too, building a reputation. In Wisconsin, no less. You earn respect there.
You definitely do. So after 4 years of that 4 years proving himself in the trenches, word finally gets back to the main office in Plain City, Ohio. A sire analyst job opens up. 1978.
And this time, he gets it. But Jake, listen to this. The guy who hired him, Dick Chester, apparently called hiring Charlie a risk.
A risk after 4 years in the system, proving himself. Wow.
Yeah. The rejected kid, the one who came in the side door, he had to grind for 4 years just to get the job they initially denied him. He was finally inside HQ, but, well, the fight wasn't over. Not by a long shot.
He basically snuck in, like you said, and was maybe on track to be a legend. But yeah, sounds like management was still keeping a very close eye on him. Hashtag 2, the 10-year probation and the BLACKSTAR breakthrough.
Okay, so he's in. And his initial success, pretty much immediate. His very first pick as an analyst was Walkway Chief Market. He knew the Walkway herd from his hometown network.
Right, leveraging those connections he built.
Exactly, and Mark worked. Good daughters, but maybe more importantly, really exceptional brood cows, the kind that build cow families. He clearly had the eye.
And he was smart. He didn't just rely on his own knowledge. He soaked things up from the veterans there. Guys like Ron Long Charlie call him one of the greatest cowmen he ever met. Yeah. And George Miller, the marketing director.
George Miller. His philosophy seems key here. What was it again?
It was simple, but powerful. Genetics isn't about looking pretty in a catalog. It's about solving problems for farmers, period.
That's it. That focus on the customer, the guy milking the cows, that seems to become Charlie's guiding principle for everything that followed. It should be taped to every breeder's wall, honestly.
Absolutely. Solve the farmer's problem first. So you see this early success with Mark. You see him learning from the best, absorbing this customer-first philosophy. You'd think, okay, he's made it. He's fully accepted now.
You would think. And yet.
Yeah.
This is where the story just floors me. You mentioned it earlier, but the internal records, they show something else entirely.
Yeah, this is the bombshell part I had to read like 3 times in the profile. After hiring him in 1978, they put Charlie Will on probation.
For 10 years.
Stop right there, Brad. Did you just say 10 years? A full decade.
Yeah, years.
You're telling me after he got in, after 4 years proving himself in the field, after making a great first pick with their Mark, they still didn't trust him. What was that about? Was that normal back then, or was this personal? Specific to him? It sounds like institutional resistance, maybe caution. I don't know if it was personal, but it was definitely about him being the backdoor hire. 10 years is just, it's an eternity in any job, right? Especially in sire selection, where one bad bet can cost millions. They were watching him every move for a decade.
Waiting to see if he was for real. If that early success was just luck.
Pretty much. Could he deliver consistently? Could he handle the pressure long term? They needed proof. Apparently a lot of proof.
The pressure must have been unbelievable. Every single bull he picked for 10 years, knowing that if it failed, it could confirm all their doubts, justify that initial rejection.
Wow.
It makes the breakthrough, when it finally came, even more incredible. So fast forward, spring 1988, 10 years into this probation, this is the moment.
Picture the scene, right? The genetics department in Plain City. Everyone huddled around those old dot matrix printers. Remember those things? Loud, clunky.
Oh, yeah, like angry typewriters hammering out the future. They're waiting for the new proofs. And there's one bull everyone's watching, the one Charlie really went to bat for. Tumar BLACKSTAR. This was make or break. If BLACKSTAR bombed after 10 years, well, the risk they took on him would look like a failure.
But BLACKSTAR didn't bomb. He didn't just succeed. He absolutely exploded. The numbers came out and bam, instantly at the top. Domestic proofs, international proofs. He was the bull.
The king. And what's really interesting is what kind of bull he was. He wasn't necessarily fitting the mold of what was trendy then, was he?
Not at all. In the late 80s, there was still this push for taller, sharper, more dairy cows. You know, the skyscraper cows that looked amazing walking across the tan bark.
But maybe he didn't hold up so well in the freestalls.
Exactly. BLACKSTAR was kind of the opposite. He wasn't extreme. He was built like a tank. A freight train, wide chest, deep body, powerful legs, just screaming strength and durability.
Functional strength, the kind that keeps cows in the herd paying the bills. Deep chest for heart and lungs, strong legs to carry a heavy udder. Stuff farmers actually needed.
That's it. And the industry recognized it instantly. Every AI stud everywhere suddenly wanted BLACKSTAR sons. He didn't just hit, he reset the standard for what a profitable, reliable bull looked like.
And that was finally enough.
After 10 years.
Apparently so. The story goes, at the very next Croof meeting, Dick Chichester stands up. He presents a letter. Signed by the entire sire team.
What does it say?
Simple. Charlie Will was officially off probation. 10 years. Think about that. A full decade of proving yourself day in, day out under that kind of scrutiny. Finally getting that official nod after delivering a global sensation.
It's incredible persistence, but it also makes you wonder, like you said earlier, how many other potential game changers get weeded out by that kind of skepticism, that focus on pedigree or credentials over actual results. ###3, the philosophy of finding diamonds, the ELTON principle. So BLACKSTAR gives him the credibility, the clout, maybe even the freedom to really double down on his own philosophy, which wasn't about following the crowd. No, quite the opposite. After BLACKSTAR hit big, he could have played it safe. Just chase the next high index sun rate. But he deliberately started looking where others weren't, looking for those hidden gems the rest of the industry had overlooked or dismissed.
Which brings us to what the sources call the ELTON principle. This is maybe the most practical takeaway for anyone selecting genetics today. It centers around one bull, 7H2236 Emprise Bill ELTON.
Right, and ELTON, on paper, had a huge red flag, especially by today's standards. His dam, she only classified good plus, and her udder, just good.
Okay, pause there. Today, in 2025, with everyone chasing EX95 scores and fancy pedigrees, a bull from a good plus dam with a good udder.
Forget about it. Most selection committees wouldn't even look at the file. He'd be screened out automatically. The focus on high classification, that catalog dream, it just blinds people sometimes.
But Charlie knew classification was just one piece. It wasn't the whole story. He believed in doing the actual legwork.
He did. Instead of just trusting the score sheet, he decided he had to see ELTON's daughters himself, in the flesh.
So he gets in the car, drives all the way up to Minnesota in February, which, is not exactly prime time for a road trip up there.
No kidding. Bitter cold. But he goes into the barn. Imagine that freezing outside. Then you step into that warm, humid barn air. Steam coming off the cows, the sounds of the milkers. That's the real world of dairy.
Far from the glossy photos in the bull catalogs.
Totally. And he starts looking at ELTON's daughters. And what does he find? Not what the good udder score might suggest. He sees exceptional udders, deep cleft, that strong center support, rear udders high and wide, and maybe most importantly, feet and legs built for the long haul, built for longevity.
Cows built to last.
Yeah.
Not just look good for one picture or one lactation. Cows that could handle multiple lactations on concrete without breaking down.
Exactly. Functional durability. He looked past the piece of paper and saw what mattered in the barn. That's the ELTON principle in action.
And the impact of that cold trip to Minnesota.
Right.
It's just staggering. ELTON goes on to sire Durham. In Durham. He sired, what was it the number?
Get this. 5,039. 5,039 documented excellent daughters. From a bull whose own sire came from a good plus dam. It's unbelievable.
A dynasty built from genetics, others rejected based on one score.
And it doesn't stop there. ELTON also became the maternal grandsire of OMAN, Obi Manfred Justice OMAN, arguably the most influential bull of the last 20 years. All traced back to Charlie trusting his eye in that Minnesota barn over the classification sheet.
It comes right back to that George Miller philosophy, doesn't it? Solving barn problems, not chasing catalog dreams.
Absolutely. The industry pushes extreme production indexes. But Charlie's big hits, the bulls that sold millions of units, they sold because they fixed real, everyday problems for farmers.
OMAN is the perfect example. Over 1 million units sold. Why?
Because Charlie and the team selected him to tackle the big issues that were killing profitability back then. Fertility problems, cows not lasting, high vet bills. OMAN delivered.
He wasn't just about milk, though he had that too. He brought better daughter pregnancy rate, DPR, longer productive life, PL, easier calving, lower thematic cell score, health traits, efficiency traits, the stuff that makes a farmer's life easier and saves money.
Right. He directly improved net merit by hitting those health and fertility components. When a bull makes your daily chores easier, makes your cows last longer, and cuts your vet bills. Farmers notice, they buy that semen. Doesn't matter if he wasn't the fanciest type bull out there.
The sales numbers prove it. You listed them before, but they bear repeating. OMAN, all over 1 million units.
Yeah.
Integrity, 1.5 million. BLACKSTAR, the Select Sires record holder, over 1.52 million units.
That's volume driven by results, not hype. Pure farmer demand because the bulls worked.
And Charlie wasn't just finding these bulls, he was explaining why they worked. He traveled everywhere, 49 states, 18 countries, translating complex genetics into practical terms.
Yeah, that story about his Wisconsin seminars sums it up. Standing in front of 200 farmers, taking something like a plus 2.0 score for utter depth, which sounds abstract.
And making it real, saying, look, this means his daughters are likely to milk 2 full lactations longer for you. That connects. That's value.
Someone, Scott Ruby, I think, said he had an incredible gift for making the complex understandable. He basically democratized genetics, made it accessible, practical for everyone.
Okay, so he's built this incredible career based on traditional evaluation. Seeing cows, trusting his eye, understanding functional traits, the ELTON principle, right? You'd think when the next huge disruption comes along, he might be the one to resist it.
You absolutely would, and that disruption was genomics. Hits the scene around 2008. It completely flipped the script on decades of bull evaluation.
Think about it. Charlie is approaching 60 by this point. He's mastered the old system, the progeny test system. Breed a bull, wait 5 years for daughters to milk, then you know if he's any good. Slow, expensive, but reliable eventually.
And most guys his age, especially the successful cowmen who relied on their eye, were skeptical. The sources say a lot of the old-timers just didn't buy it. How could a DNA test replace 5 years of real-world performance data?
They were comfortable with what they knew. They'd built careers on it. Why change now, especially with something that seemed like, I don't know, science fiction almost?
But Charlie! Instead of digging in his heels, he saw genomics for what it was. An incredible new tool. He recognized its potential immediately.
What was the key difference he saw? Reliability.
Yeah, reliability and speed. Before genomics, he said, using parent averages to predict a young bull's potential was maybe a 50-50 shot. You were basically guessing on half your selections.
A very expensive guess, considering the cost of raising and housing all those young bulls for years.
Exactly. Genomics changed the odds dramatically. Suddenly, you could test a calf and get a reliability of, say, 70-75% for key traits almost instantly. Way better odds than 50-50.
That's a game changer for managing risk and accelerating progress. You can identify the elite calves much, much earlier.
Think about the business side for a farmer-owned co-op like Select Sires. The old way meant housing hundreds of bulls for 5 years, knowing maybe half would fail. Millions spent on feed and care for bulls that wouldn't make it. Genomics let them cut that drastically. Identify the likely winners early, manage inventory, turn bulls over faster. Huge cost savings.
But Charlie's thinking went beyond just adopting the tech. He saw the potential downside too, right? The risk to the breed itself.
That's where he really showed his foresight, acting as a steward of the breed. He realized immediately, if everyone just chases the very highest genomic young bulls based on these new indexes,
you end up breeding everything to the same few sires or sire lines.
Precisely. The genetic pool shrinks dangerously fast. You increase inbreeding, you lose diversity, you potentially concentrate recessive genes. It's a huge long-term risk.
And we're seeing the effects of that now, aren't we? Concerns about Holstein inbreeding levels hitting potentially critical points in some elite populations.
We are, and Charlie saw it coming. So even though it might have cost Select Sires some points on the ranking list in the short term, not always having the absolute #1 genomic bull, he guided them to deliberately use some bulls with maybe slightly lower indexes but different pedigrees. Outcross bulls.
To maintain that genetic diversity.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the most immediately profitable or popular move.
He literally asked, if we don't maintain genetic diversity, who will? That's thinking about the future health of the entire breed, not just the next proof run, sacrificing a little now for long-term stability.
And the overall economic impact of genomics, the tool he championed. It's massive.
The numbers are staggering. Estimates suggest that between 2008 and 2019 alone, genomics added something like $50 per cow per year in genetic value across the U.S. herd.
$50 per cow per year, times millions of cows.
It adds up. We're talking a $4 billion total industry impact just from the genetic gain enabled by genomics in that period, maybe more.
And now, over 1 million genomic tests run every year. It's completely transformed how we select bulls and heifers.
It has. And it's thanks in large part to leaders like Charlie who, even late in their careers, weren't afraid to embrace disruption. He didn't fight the future. He helped shape it, Pivoting like that at age 60, that takes real vision. Hashtag V or S. Practical application for today's dairy farmer, October 2025 reality. Okay, so let's tie all this history and philosophy directly to what you, the listener, are facing right now. It's October 2025. The market's tough. CME milk is maybe, $17.19, somewhere tight like that.
Yeah, margins are squeezed, input costs are high. You've got external stuff going on too. Maybe a government shutdown messing with USDA reports, global companies making big moves like Nestle, backing away from methane initiatives. Lots of uncertainty.
Exactly. It's a high-pressure environment. And that's precisely why Charlie Will's focus on practical, functional, efficient genetics is more relevant today than ever.
But there are bright spots too, right? Things built on the foundation he helped lay.
For sure. Despite the pressure, most farmers, maybe 75%, still expect to turn a profit this year. We've got billions, like $8 billion in new dairy processing capacity coming online. And the beef on dairy trend. That's huge, providing a really vital secondary income stream for many operations.
And the cows themselves are just getting better and better faster than ever. That April 2025 base change proves it.
It really does. The biggest base change ever for Holsteins. Rolling back butterfat by 45 pounds, protein by 30 pounds.
And just to clarify for everyone listening that base change doesn't mean cows got worse. It means the average cow improved so much, so quickly, that they had to reset the 0 point just to keep the index numbers meaningful.
Right. It's mathematical proof of rapid genetic progress. Today's average Holstein, the kind Charlie championed, more moderate size, healthier, more fertile, is way more efficient than those skyscraper cows from the 80s. They're doing more with less.
So Charlie distilled his approach down to 3 core principles. What were they again? Kind of a survival guide for today.
Yeah, simple but critical. 1, find the right people. Work with advisors, selectors, evaluators who actually understand farming, who have that barn eye, who know genetics is about improving your bottom line.
2,
Work as a team. Remember that for co-ops like Select Sires, it's farmer-owned. Decisions impact everyone. Choose genetics that benefit the whole system, the long-term health of the breed.
and 3,
Embrace new tools. Don't be afraid of technology. Use genomics, use IVF, use sex semen, whatever helps you make faster, smarter genetic progress on your farm.
Okay, so armed with those principles, let's say I'm sitting down next week looking at bull proofs, trying to make decisions for my herd. What are the 3 concrete lessons from Charlie's career I should apply?
Number 1 has to be the ELTON principle. Look where others aren't looking. Don't just chase the highest TPI or net merit number. Dig deeper. Look at functional traits. Is there a bull with maybe slightly lower index, but his daughters have incredible longevity or fantastic feet and legs? Don't automatically reject a bull because his dam wasn't EX95. Look for functional durability that solves your herd-specific problems.
Okay, look beyond the obvious index. What's number 2?
Number 2 is OMAN's lesson. Select bulls that solve real day-to-day barn problems, not just ones that look good on paper or in the show ring. OMAN sold millions because he improved calving ease, fertility, health, the things that cost farmers time and money every single day. Prioritize those net merit component traits. Productive life, DPR, somatic cell score, livability, these directly impact your profitability.
Got it. Solve real problems.
Yeah.
And the 3rd lesson?
The 3rd is the genomics lesson. Embrace disruption and use the best tools available no matter how long you've been farming. Use genomic testing on your heifers. It's affordable now to make smarter culling decisions early. Consider IVF to multiply genetics from your very best cows faster. In this tight market, the speed of genetic progress you can achieve using these tools is crucial. It's not a luxury, it's essential risk management.
Knowing which heifers are keepers within weeks instead of years. That's a massive advantage. That acceleration is really Charlie Will's gift to today's dairy farmer. Hashtag T6. Legacy and final takeaway. So you walk into pretty much any barn today. You see those Holsteins, efficient, moderate size, working hard. That's Charlie Will's legacy right there in front of you. Those cows, their resilience, their fertility, their ability to last. So much of that traces back to the bulls he found, the philosophy he championed.
It's a $4 billion legacy, measured in genetic gain, but it's also measured in cows that just work better for the farmer. The story itself is it's incredible. From total rejection to industry pioneer, it's pure persistence.
That farm kid they wouldn't hire waits 10 years just to get off probation, then spends the next 30 years completely changing global dairy genetics, focusing on the farmer, trusting his eye, embracing the future. It's a powerful lesson.
Especially for young people maybe struggling to get a foothold in the industry right now. That rejection letter, it wasn't the end. It was the start of the backdoor strategy. Your first job might not be the dream job, But use it, learn from it, build your reputation like Charlie did out there in those Wisconsin barns doing SMS evaluations. Earn your shot.
He proved that sometimes the path to the top isn't the front door, it's the side door, followed by a whole lot of hard work and proving people wrong.
That 2025 NAAB Pioneer Award, that's the official recognition, absolutely deserved. But the real lasting impact, it's the efficiency built into the modern Holstein herd. That $4 billion in added value. That's what helps farmers weather the storms, like the tight market we're seeing right now.
This might be one of the most important stories we've covered here. A rejection that sparked a revolution, benefiting literally every single dairy farmer listening today.
Absolutely. And it's not just a history lesson. His methods, his principles, they're the roadmap for navigating today's challenges, for making smart choices in a tough market.
Definitely. So head over to www.thebullvine.com. You can read the full in-depth profile on Charlie Will there. We've also linked some really practical articles that build on these ideas, how to actually apply selection indexes effectively, making the most of the beef on dairy strategy using these efficient cows, and a crucial look at Holstein inbreeding, that issue Charlie was so concerned about.
All the tools you need to put these lessons into practice. Subscribe, keep learning, and make sure you join us next time for more insights you can trust right here on the Bullvine Podcast.